Welcome, everybody, to All About Articulation, where we do a deeper dive into the articulation of some of your favorite action figures while glossing over things like sculpt, paint apps, character history, accessories, because I suck at that, and there are already so many great reviews on YouTube who do that already, so I don't want to waste your time. So today we're going to look at the Medicom Mafex LeBron James home gold Lakers jersey. I'm going to give you my quick thoughts right off the bat, just a couple of minutes, and then jump right into the deeper dive into the articulation, all right? So, who's this figure for? Figure for leg lock, that is. Sorry. Who's this figure for? Is this figure, it's primarily for, I think, basketball fans, LeBron James fans. If you're a basketball fan, LeBron James fan, I think you would love this figure. If you're not a LeBron James fan, if you're not a basketball fan, would you buy this? Is it for just an average collector with no real love or affection for sports? Probably not. I like to compare him straight up to the previous released Michael Jordan figure, also from Medicom Mafex. And this, to me, is a 10. All right, because for subjective reasons, because I'm a huge Jordan fan, I'm a huge basketball fan, huge sports fan. In fact, if Mafex wants to release more NBA basketball players, I would buy them, no questions asked. That's how big a fan I am. So, of course, when he came out, I was definitely going to grab him. But if you're not a LeBron James or basketball fan, would you get this? I would say probably not. You don't need him in your collection. If he's a 10, Jordan, I would say this figure is a generous 8.5, generous. But there are a lot of issues that he has that Jordan doesn't have. Mainly, I have two major qualms, and I think a lot of people have echoed the same sentiment. Number one is the head is a bit small. They scaled it right in terms of their height and size. Jordan is listed at 6'6", LeBron is listed at 6'8". So when you have them standing next to each other, you say to yourself, okay, that's a good height disparity. But something about, I just couldn't put my finger on it at first. Like, why does it look so weird when they're standing next to each other, especially when they're standing back to back or face to face? And I realized that they made LeBron's head very small. If you look at the two heads, and I'm not going to take his head off just because I have this other Jordan head here. The Jordan head is a lot bigger, if you can see that. There you go. Hopefully it stays in focus. And just case in point, if I were to put the other Jordan, so this Jordan came with two heads, one mouth open, one mouth closed. If you put this Jordan head on this LeBron figure, it seems just much more proportioned. I hope it comes through on camera. There you go. This is Jordan. This is Jordan on steroids. And now I think it fleshes out a lot better. You remove the Jordan head, put LeBron's head back on, and he's got a little pea head compared to Jordan's more, I think, anatomically correct head. So that's one thing, just right off the bat. I think because if you look at the shoulders are well proportioned, and the height is good, and the legs and the arms are about, I think LeBron's arms are a little bit longer. No, actually they're the same. Same arm length. And that might be another issue, because they have long arms, long legs, big hands, and they do a good job with that. But if you made LeBron a little bit taller, then you should make his arms a little bit longer. But I can live with that. That's not a complaint. That's fine. It's just that the head is very small. I think that they measure it when they were done, Mafex, probably under QC. They might have measured the top of his head down to the bottom of his beard instead of giving the beard a little bit more sculpt, making the head just seem a little bit bigger. Am I crazy? Or does Jordan's head just look bigger? No? All right, anyway. And secondly, my second major issue is that the jersey for LeBron, it rides up too much. Do you see how Jordan's jersey, it rests nice and flush down? You can see his clavicle. This is not me adjusting it, not me messing with it, not me doing anything. Right out of the box, it came like that. But you see LeBron, his jersey kind of rides up like that. It should ride down like this. That's how it should be, where you could see a little bit more of his chest. That's how jerseys are. If you wear a tank top, wear a basketball jersey, look at pictures of him online. But instead, it just rides up, and it constantly goes up and up and up. And it looks like a life preserver jacket. Like he was sitting on a canoe, he fell overboard, and the life preserver jacket just keeps riding up on his head, up to his head, and you keep having to pull it down. And I thought, oh, maybe what I could do is that I could maybe put a drop of hot glue, maybe on the back somewhere, against his skin and the inside of the jersey to keep it down. But I thought, I don't want to do that. Then I realized, wait a minute, because I remember when I was changing around Jordan, I remember that there's a piece of plastic. Oh, this is going to be a little creepy. Sorry, LeBron. I have to take your pants off. I have to unpants LeBron. But if you look down, you take the pants off, you see that there's this piece of plastic. There's a piece of clear plastic there, right? There you go, the piece of clear plastic. And that connects to the back here. Almost like a thong, like a G-string, for lack of a better term. And it keeps the jersey down. However, I think they gave that piece of clear plastic too much clearance. It's not tight enough, so the jersey keeps riding up. As opposed to Jordan, and I don't need to show you, you can just use your imagination, that piece of plastic on Jordan is a lot tighter and more taut, so it keeps the jersey down without having it riding up every 2 seconds. So I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, I think I'm definitely going to do this. I'm going to take these shorts off, and I'm going to kind of pinch that plastic G-string, that plastic thong down more, and maybe either glue it or tighten it or make it more taut so the jersey doesn't keep riding up, if that makes sense. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to pause it right here, put the shorts back on, and we're going to go into articulation. All right, and we're back. All right, so the articulation, for this review, the articulation portion is going to be a lot shorter than the initial thoughts, portion, only because the articulation is almost identical to the previously reviewed Jordan figure. So if you have the Jordan figure, you know exactly what to expect with this LeBron figure. And the articulation is fantastic. I mean, any sort of basketball pose, any sort of basketball action shot that you want to recreate, it's possible. So right off the bat, you got the head goes up that much, double points of articulation in the upper neck and the lower neck. You could isolate the top head joint and just articulate the lower one, or you can isolate the lower joint and just articulate the top joint. But together, you get great range all around. It's perfect. He hits his T pose, or as I like to call it, the hot tub pose. How you doing? It goes very, very high. He's got the butterfly joints. The butterfly joints in isolation doesn't move that much. Actually, it does. I take that back. It's great. It's great. Butterfly movement. Again, I'm not moving the shoulder at all. I'm just moving the butterfly joint. So that's how much range you get for the butterfly. And now if I'm going to isolate the butterfly, and I'm just moving, well, you don't get a lot of sideway movement for the shoulder, but that's where all the up and down movement comes in. So together with the shoulder and the butterfly, you get great range of motion, just absolutely perfect. Of course, bicep, double jointed elbows. It hits the angle. It hits, what is that? What would you call that? If that's 90, that's about 45. It's really good. He can touch his own shoulder, scratch his own back. Again, with these Mafex wrist joints, they pop out very easily, so you just got to be wary of that. But yeah, he can scratch his own back, scratch his own shoulder. The butterfly joint, when accessed all the way, look at that. He could, that's how far. When elbows are straight, there you go. He could bring his hands in a complete clasp. That's what it looks like from the top. All right. Ab crunch. All right. As everybody knows, I'm a stickler for ab crunch. I hate loose ab crunches or ab crunches with very limited range. And this figure, just like the Jordan figure, does not disappoint. So he's got 2 points of articulation, one at the upper abdomen, one at the lower. The top, you get that much movement. I'm trying to isolate just for the top, isolate the lower, and then isolate the top just for the lower. He gets that much movement. And together, he goes all the way down that far. I mean, that's fantastic. That's just fantastic. Down to the legs. Well, let's do the hips first. One thing about the hips is that you get a little bit of I don't know, limited range, only because you have so much cloth down here. It looks almost like a diaper. It's just a lot of material here. It's very thick. So that could get in the way, but not as much as I'm making it out to see. It just looks thick, and it is thick. I think it's a lot thicker than the Jordan one. If you have the Jordan figure, you'll see that it does come, bunch, because what also you have to realize that they both have the waistband, so that adds bulk, and then of course the cloth fabric that adds some bulk. Although I think they did something to the fabric of the of LeBron shorts that's feels a little bit thicker than Jordan shorts. But also they also have shorts underneath. He's got these white shorts underneath, as you can see there. Jordan's got these black shorts underneath. So it's like a lot of layers going on. And that does kind of hinder the hip movement, but not by much. So he could still kick up that far. Not going to do a lot of Bruce Lee high kicks, not on the Rockettes, but it's okay. He can do a sideways split out to there, right? I mean, he's not a gymnast, so definitely do that like a spread eagle slam dunk pose. It's good enough. Not exactly a split, not exactly a, well, let's see him do the Glenn Webb split, which is as far down as he can go with both feet flat on the floor. In memory of Glenn Webb. There you go, that's how far he can go. Double jointed knees. He can kick his own butt. So that's great. And the ankle articulation is good. I mean, these are hard plastic, so it's not like if you're wearing sneakers, you can get a lot of ankle motion and movement and range. But this, because it's harder plastic, it does limit the up-down movement. So he can only go far up that much. Like if that's neutral, it goes up to there. Neutral, there. And neutral to there. Neutral to there. But a lot of pivot, a lot of ankle, motion, just not in the up down. So it's a good amount of articulation, just almost identical to the Jordan figure. So yeah, I mean, listen, if you're just an NBA fan, a sports fan, a LeBron fan, or you just have the Jordan figure and you just want to get another figure to, have him play like a one-on-one basketball game shot, pick him up. If you have like $100 to spare. If you don't, totally get it. Yeah, if if you're just an average, you know, collector, not into sports, you know, you want, is he worth picking up? He's not a bad figure. Again, I give him an 8 to an 8.5 if I'm feeling generous. There's some issues that I do have, but I could easily overlook them. I don't know how you feel about it, but yeah, man. But I'm a huge basketball fan, so any NBA figures that they ever release in the future, it's an automatic pickup for me. So I guess that's who it's for. All right. Take it easy, guys. See you in the next.